Coming up on Omitted.
I don't understand why everyone does not like it. There's people who hate it, but I feel like I like the class so much because it's made me such a good public speaker.
Hello and welcome back to Omitted. Omitted is the Classic's premier college admissions podcast where we sit down with Townsend Harris seniors and talk about the college application process. This episode is a continuation of the last one. In this episode, we'll discuss classes, extracurricular activities, and awards. The last one was essays, and this is Season 5, Episode 2. Now let Pastor Ryan take it away again. Enjoy. Thank you, and welcome to the next episode of Omitted. Today we're joined by
Tristin.
And a bit about the school you're committing to, the field the major you want to study, and how did you apply to your school?
I'm committed to Northwestern University, and I'm going with an econ major. And I do plan on, most of the student body, usually do a dual degree or maybe just a minor in entrepreneurship. And I applied through Common App. So yeah.
Did you apply through regular decision or?
I did regular decision.
Okay, I think we'll move on to classes. Freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, and senior year. Throughout your 4 years at high school, what classes do you think made you different from the pool of applicants, and what classes would you recommend to underclassmen or people selecting the classes?
Well, first I have to give my kudos to AP Gov, because then I would not be able to be an election sim to play Kweller Harris. And I also feel I really like the class. I don't know. But then now people were telling me I probably should have took macro because Northwestern doesn't have technically a business admin major. They have a minor in entrepreneurship, but I'm majoring in economics. And if I took macro this year, then technically I would be eligible for credit if I got a 4 or 5 on the AP test. But then I just wanted to take classes I feel I would be interested in, and also classes I feel I would enjoy. And because at Townsend Harris, in particular, if you're in gov versus macro, you can have a bigger role in election sim. And I was it would be cool if I could play president. It was a very enticing idea in the beginning of the year. So I really like that class. I also would, oh my god, I can't stress this enough, but I recommend AP Seminar and AP Research. I don't understand why everyone does not like it. There's people who hate it, but I feel I like the class so much because it's made me such a good public speaker. And I feel I'm using the skills in literally anything else I do. Not only does it force you to it forces you to talk into groups of people. You're talking in front of at least 20 to 30 kids frequently. And I feel after you get the nerves off of you about public speaking, about presentations, then high school is smooth sailing because there's no way you're going to be in a class where you don't have to deliver a presentation, or there's no way there's going to be a moment in life where you don't have to talk in in front of masses. And I feel it was such a good class for me. And it was also such a good extracurricular for me because I ended up becoming a research TA. And when you actually put it down on paper, it's this is actually a pretty big role. People, you don't take it as seriously in the moment, but you end up being able to grade work. You're able to give feedback. You're able to conference. You're a teacher's assistant. And I feel people overlook that opportunity so much, but it was a good experience. And I also just like the presentations that I was able to make in that class. They were always cute and pretty. It's so personal to you. And I feel you could always make AP Research or AP Seminar however you want. You can mold it into whatever you feel you want to do. And that's one of the few classes in high school I feel where you have total control over everything you're doing. And it's very independent too. I'll also recommend. Oh, I really liked AP Lang. I didn't do wait, what grade are you in?
Sophomore.
Really?
I'm a sophomore.
I thought you were a junior.
No. Building on the AP Seminar thing, I chose the hybrid class for AP Physics. The reason why I chose AP Physics instead of AP Sem was because I'm more of a STEM person. But also I've heard the amount of homework
No, that's not true.
I've heard from the other editors about homework, and I think that was the main reason why I chose hybrid instead of a seminar. What do you have to say about
No, I mean, if you're in STEM, I'm not like a STEM girly. Like, I've tried. It just does not click in my head. Like, during physics, I was just like, I did not know what was going on. Thank you, Mr. Sai, though. He was really good at explaining. But I feel like if you want to like go into STEM, then it makes more sense, like, do like AP Physics. But again, like, I don't think the homework was bad, because I feel like what I also liked about what I also liked about the class is because it situates you more into like you had to hold yourself accountable, because I feel like a lot of people let assignments pile up because the deadlines would be so far in the future. But it was like, if we had a paper due, yeah, it will be like months ahead. Like, I think our first I know for AP research itself, like, you basically have like the entire school year to like complete your entire project. So yeah, it seems like, oh, I have months to complete this, but like, if you're pacing yourself correctly, then it's really light. Like, I feel like I didn't have a problem with it, because it forced me to be like, let me just get this out the way, because I know I'm not going to want to do it later. And I know, like, when the actual deadline is here, I'm also not going to want to do it then. So I should just try to get it all done in class, or I should try to get it done like that day. And I feel like that independence and like accountability is also like a good skill to have. And like, I don't know, I feel like I didn't really experience having like a lot of homework. I feel like some assignments, like when you're trying to like, if you're doing AP research, you have to like interpret your own data. And I feel like, again, like that can be like annoying sometimes. But I feel like I just took my time like trying to do it. And it's also like, I feel like also like with that class, like if you have good communication and you're actually putting effort in to like stay on top of your work, then you can like vouch for an extension. And like, it was fine then. I feel like as long as you're using like your lifelines to be able to be like, I'll get this in, like, just give me one extra day, then I feel like it was smooth sailing.
Do you have anything other to add about class?
I'm trying to think back to like any of my other like, I don't know. Well, I feel like those are like the major ones, because I know for sophomore year I took Sweeney's class, Everyone's a Critic. And the beanbags were very like enticing to want to pick that class.
That classroom is really good. It's a good classroom.
Oh my god. And I had him in the morning, so it would be like great. Like the second I got to school, I could just plop on a beanbag. But I also did like that class because it also introduced me to the classic, and I feel like that wasn't like something that people really talk about freshman year. And I didn't really know that many people writing from freshman year onwards. I know a lot more people joined sophomore year only because Everyone's a Critic. Like, I wouldn't say like it put it in your face, but it definitely introduced it as like a cool like activity. And I feel like without it, I wouldn't really have explored it. Well, I stopped writing for the classic. That's only because like Isabella would be asking me to like write articles, and I guess because it was coming from Isabella that I didn't like take it as seriously. I feel like if like Sweetie was asking me to do these things, then I probably would have like put like a better foot forward.
Was she your editor?
No, she's just my friend. Like she was just my friend, and she was also like on the track of becoming editor-in-chief. So like obviously she was asking like her other friends to like write for the classic, like it's cool, like blah blah blah. So I feel like it was me not taking it as seriously, but I feel like it's really cool. And I probably wouldn't have like explored it if I didn't take Everyone's a Critic, because not other classes like really introduce it. I think the Phoenix had an elective, but I don't really know how many like people I personally knew who picked it. And also like another like thing is like, don't really pick classes like based on like your friends, because I feel like I've made like a lot more like friendships being classes that I personally chose instead of just like following like what everyone else was picking. I feel like, yeah, because then I don't think I would have like finished like the AP capstone thing from seminar into research if I followed my friends, because I know a lot of people who dropped it, even though like in my mind it was just like I've already like like 50% here. Like I should just finish it out. And you also get a cord, and it might be pink, but yeah.
Okay, I think we'll move on to extracurriculars. What extracurriculars do you think were the most impactful in your application that told your story the best?
Well, my main extracurricular was my small business that, like, I feel like I don't talk about it, like, a lot, like, in school at all, because, like, I don't know. I find it, like, a little, like, I don't know. I wouldn't say embarrassing, but it's, like, weird to bring it up. I don't know. But that was my main extracurricular because, again, like, I wanted to pursue, like, the business route. And I've started, like, 2 businesses, like, so far. And I've morphed it into, like, my current one. But it was, like, a big part of my application only because, one, like, not a lot of people, like, start this, like, during the summer, like, during, like, high school. And it also was what I was devoting a lot of my, like, free time to. And, like, I did, like, the internship thing. Also, like, I don't understand why people, like, sophomore into junior year were, like, stressing, like, oh, you have to have an internship or, like, you're not going to have enough experience. Because I feel like that wasn't true. I feel like regardless of when you find an internship, like, you don't want to rush it because then it's, like, you might not use it. And because, like, I felt rushed into doing it, I had an internship at a psychiatry office. And it was because, like, I thought I wanted to go into psych. And I felt like if I didn't get the experience now, then I wouldn't have anything to build my application, like, up further. Which is just not true. Like, it's like a false narrative. So, like, the summer of junior year, like, the summer into junior year, wait, no. It was the summer after junior year. The summer after junior year into senior year. Wait, no. I feel like I'm getting the dates wrong, but it's, like, fine. It's, like, fine. Basically, I ended up starting, like, a t-shirt business where I would, like, design my own decals, and I was, like, basically funneling through, like, other small businesses, and I would try to get as much, like, not inventory, but as much supplies needed from, like, other small businesses, and I would be able to, like, create my own designs and, like, make these shirts. And I feel like it taught me to be, like, a better time, like, manager. Is that even, like, a phrase? Like, have better time management. Yeah. It helped me have better time management because I was still balancing, like, assignments that were also due, like, at 11:59 on, like, Fridays. But then I would also have, like, orders coming in at the same time. And it was, like, I didn't want to, like, waste time on other people's, like, hard-earned money. So it was, like, the pressure on that, because I feel like if I was ordering from a small business and they were taking, like, 2 weeks or something, then I would be, like, scared about it, and I wouldn't, like be as trusting to, like, be a customer in the future. So I had that, like, time ticking. And it was also because I was making my own posts, I was making my own products, handling my own website. I was, like, the one-woman job. And I feel like balancing that and being, like, a high schooler in a very, like, challenging, like, academic like, environment, it made it a big extracurricular to me because of the hours I was putting in and the tasks that I had to do. Again, another AP research plug. My other extracurricular was being an AP research TA, and I feel like I really liked it because I don't know, like, I wouldn't say, like, I don't know, like, I feel like a proud mom, like, when, like, my mentees would, like, finish their work and they would have, like, amazing presentations, even though, like, it was really them, like, that was all, like, their work and all their skills, but just knowing that I was able to help them, or I was able to, like, add comments and, like, feedback to their work, and it, like, turned out, like, well, like, it made me very proud. And also, again, when you put it on paper, even if you're, like, grading or helping, like, 2 hours each day, that's still, like, 10 hours a week, and that's, like, a very big, like, thing as a high schooler. And it's also, like, less pressure, I feel, because they low-key, like, just trust whatever you're saying. Because even though, like, my mentees, they were mostly, like, juniors, and I'm only a senior, so I really didn't have that much, like, seniority. But even then, it was, like, a very, like, light activity. And I feel like it's also, like, technically, like, built into, like, AP, like, research, because when you do finish your own work, you have ample time to, like, help others. So I really like that. And I think, and then there was also, like, so, like, me and my friend, wait, you know Rajvi? Me and Rajvi, like, co-founded, like, this other organization outside of school. And it was also like a lot of work, like trying to balance all these activities, so it didn't like flourish as much as we wanted it to, like in our minds. But even then, that was also a good activity because despite it not being as like extensive as some of my other extracurriculars, it was still there. And I feel like, well, yeah, like I feel like college admissions, like they will look at how long you're actually like upkeeping these activities, but as long as you're still like trying, and even if it's like for a month, you can do a lot more. Like I feel like if you're dedicated, you can do a lot in a month compared to like someone having like the same activity for like a year. And it really depends on like how much dedication or like what the activity is.
But before we go on to today's video, I want to thank today's sponsor, Kweller Prep. Kweller Prep is an award-winning educational program that helps students across their educational journey, from the SHSAT in middle school to the SAT in high school and beyond. Kweller Prep also offers in-person and online classes with a maximum of 10 students per class to offer more on one-to-one and personal experience. Kweller Prep also offers college admissions advice that can help navigate you through a rather complicated college application process. To learn more about Kweller Prep, click the link in the description or go to kwellerprep.com to learn more about it. Moving on to awards, what do you think are the most notable awards in your application?
Well, on Common App, I don't really, well, like, I didn't really like stack up like the honors like awards things, because I mainly just put like the national like recognition programs, where I have national first generation recognition program and national African American recognition program, and those are also given out to College Board. But then I think after I did complete my Common App, was it before or after? There was like awards that I just forgot to put down, and I didn't think about it until after I submitted my application. But I did complete like the summer program, Girls with Impact, and it's business like orientated, and it's like this boot camp where you have 4 weeks to essentially make a mock business, and you have to like sort out like your SWOT analysis and like how this would act out in the real world. And I did like receive a certificate for that. But besides that, like I feel like low-key, like I feel like that's the only part like I could have did more on my application on. And yeah, like if that was like, if someone was like, oh, like if you could turn back time, like what's the one thing you would do? I feel like it would like probably be going out of my way to like get more honors and like awards, because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it's more like it's always like advertised as like an unconscious activity. Like it's not like something that you go out of your way to achieve, but it's like when you do like your like work, and it's whether like you're recognized for it or not. So yeah, I feel like that's something like I would probably like strive for more. I just didn't like have it like on the top of my mind.
Do you think the award section like hindered your application, or do you think other parts of it made up to that section?
I feel like, well, I don't know. Well, I would hope it didn't hinder my application. I assume like maybe because it is a like weak point, and like obviously like you would want to have like a full like application, and like especially like when you're scrolling through like your Common App and they have all the previews, like you don't want like a singular line, like you always want like to stack it up, which is like fine. But I feel like I did have to make sure that my other like parts of my application was definitely making up for it, because I didn't want it to look like I didn't put effort, but it just happened to be like something that like just didn't like occur for me. Because I feel like there's a lot of people that do a lot, and I don't think like they're getting like a state level or like city level, like a like public recognition for it, but they're definitely putting in like effort like behind closed doors that I feel like they either put and like squish it in like their extracurriculars, or it just happens to be something that they talk about like in their supplements.
Do you think, did you submit like the common ones like the NLE or NGE or like AP Scholar? Do you think people should submit those like common ones that maybe a lot of people might have, but do you think people should still submit those awards?
Yeah, I feel like people should submit them. I just didn't think about it because like, well, I don't know if it was me personally, but I just never really thought about like Latin. Like I just like when there's like the stress of like college applications, like a lot of things like you feel like you miss, which is like I would recommend like even before Common App is being stressed to you, you have like a notes app or something that you're like putting things in so you can clock it later. Because I feel like a lot of things were just slipping my mind as I was just trying to like type and make sure like everything was like put together. Like I didn't even think about like NLE or like NGE, because I feel like Latin and Greek are like actually hard. And like it's a class that I don't think a lot of people take like in other high schools, but it's still like you have to like study, like you have to put in effort just like any other class. And to be also recognized like on a national level, or even if it's just like a medal or a certificate, I feel like you should put it down, because I feel like people also think that just because a lot of people, or like the scarcity of a honor or award diminishes like the prestige of it, which is just not true. Because like even if it's only like a select few, yeah, that's still really good. But if a lot of people are still like achieving the same standards, that doesn't mean like you still didn't achieve something like to begin with.
And how did you like phrase when you were writing it onto your application? How did you phrase it, or was there like a description of telling what the award was? And
so on Common App, the only thing they asked for like the title of it, and they asked like the grade and the level of recognition. So there's like school, state, national, and international. So even like they have a section for school awards. So like if you have a bunch of like, even if they're small, like you can still stack it in there. Like obviously like people are gonna think like if it's not like international or national, like it's not as important. But I feel like if you still put in like work behind it, then you should get into it.
And I think as a closing thought, what general advice would you give to those rising juniors that are stressing and probably not having fun during the summer writing the essays? What advice would you give them?
Well, my first one would be like, don't put a timer on anything, because again, I did not finish or solidify my college essay until well into October. And people have this idea that you should have everything like completed and done before you're entering senior year, which is just not true. Because there's ample time to like edit. There's ample time to completely scrap things. Yeah, I also would say don't be afraid to like throw things away. I feel like if I was trying to force myself to make previous ideas work only because I was scared of having to start over my essay, then I feel like it would have hindered me in the long run. But being able to just like delete everything and just start a new doc like helped a lot. I would also say like I said before, like start noting things in your notes app before you have like a scrambled mind of like all these deadlines or all these things I have to complete. And I'm also like a very like spreadsheet type of person. So during like my application process, I had a spreadsheet of all the colleges I wanted to apply to, and I organized it in the safeties, targets, and reach. And then so I had that. I had like how much like the tuition is, like how's the housing. I also had like the majors they had, because like I said before, like in my mind I wanted to do like business admin or like marketing or something like that, and I know like some schools just don't offer that like major. So also knowing like the substitute like or how some like your interests will have to translate into other like schools is definitely like important, because if I realize that even if I'm taking like economics and it doesn't have like the classes that I'm actually interested in, like as a business like orientated person, then I shouldn't put down the major. So yeah, like my major spreadsheet was definitely helpful, because even then I think I put like 25 schools down at first, and I forced myself to like rank it, like how happy and like excited I would be to go to like each school. And I realized like some of them I just couldn't actually imagine me being there, even though like it had a great name and anyone would be like honored to be like accepted into that school. I felt like I would not truly like the experience there, and not even like as if it was a bad school, but only because I have like very like particular like needs or interests, and like I didn't want like a small school. And I know that Brown is an extremely good university, but it's also very small. And I didn't want like something that felt a little too close to like being like in high school. And also like when you're looking at these numbers of like the school's population, you also have to remember like you have to divide this by like 4, because it's only like the people in your grade that you're really going to be around. Or sometimes like schools add in like their graduate students in their population, so then it makes it even smaller. So it was like taking away from like the name, just knowing like what you're looking for, which is why I also recommend a spreadsheet, because then you have everything lined up and it's easier to like rank things, because you also have to be realistic with yourself. And I feel like, I don't know, like I feel like also going to Townsend, like there's always like this thing, like there's always like, it's like about the Ivies, like it's always about the Ivies. Like when everyone was initially getting ready for like college applications, it was like always about the Ivies. It's always about like top schools, and like you're always like, I feel like it does make sense to like reach for the moon, and like maybe you'll land on a star still, but I feel like it made it very stressful, because this was like a standard that isn't really real. Like when you step outside of Townsend, like, and you ask like other people like, what schools do you want to go to, or like what schools are you going to, it's never always going to be like the Harvard, Princeton, Yale. like there's so many other schools to branch out to. So it was like so hard to remember to not minimize like this entire process, because there's thousands of like schools that you can apply to that you may love, but they're just not like the same Ivies that everyone wants you to apply to. Not to say like you should not apply to Ivies, but like you should still like branch out, because like even then like Northwestern is like insanely good school, but technically like it's not a part of the traditional Ivies, and a lot of people just haven't heard about it that way because of how the bigger names are always like dominating the field. So yeah.
And I think as the final closing thought, what was the experience like of Ivy Day, of opening those decisions?
Oh my god. I had to like force myself to take a nap, because everything, like nothing comes out in the morning. So we're all going to school, and it was like, I know people who like skipped school in order to not be around other people during Ivy Day. And like I had gotten home like early. Like the one time where I didn't have plans after school, it was literally on like Ivy Day, and I like everyone's like nerves were high. I had to like take a nap to like speed like the day up. And then I think like I woke up around like 6, and all the group chats were quiet, and and I like opened my phone. I was scrolling through my notifications. I checked Instagram. Everyone was just like quiet. It was like the quiet before the storm. And then like 7 p.m. hits, 8 p.m. hits, and we're seeing all these stories load through. Oh my god, that's the one thing I feel like that's so annoying about the college application process, is that people are always going to post it on Instagram, and it's like, I opened up a letter that I did not want to open, and I checked my phone, and like I see like 10 people get into the school. So like again, it was like minimizing, like this is only the people I follow. Like this does not reflect all the New York City teenagers. But again, it's so stressful because it's also so public, and it's like, if someone knows you applied somewhere and you don't have a post, or like your friends are not posting you with the little sticker and the GIF, like then like people kind of already know that you like didn't get in. And I feel like knowing that like everyone's technically like also going through the same thing. Like there's no way that someone went through this entire process and didn't get like rejected from like at least one school. But oh my god, like no, and I feel like generally if people didn't hype it up to the degree that they do, then the day probably would have went by like easier. But because like I remember like last year, like everyone opened it up like in the auditorium. Oh my god, I'm so scared. Sorry. But I remember last year people ended up opening like their like results like in the auditorium together, and I was like, they cannot do that this year. If they do it this year, I'm gonna tweak out, because like it feels embarrassing in the moment. But then I realized like after I opened up like my like 3 like little letters, I was like, you know what, that's like fine. I can't remember. No, yeah, Ivy Day happened before I got my letter back from Northwestern. So I was like, let me just hope and pray that like everything else is gonna come out well. Also because I did end up like early decisioning to UPenn, because again, I was very business oriented, and I was like, I need to go to Wharton. Like this is not like an option. Like I have to go there. I had it like as my wallpaper. I had it as my like lock screen. I had a whole like Pinterest board about it. But then like after like the like rejection like hit, it was like there's like other things to like worry about now. And I feel like because it happened so early on in the application process, like obviously like it gives you like bad energy, or like you feel like you're like you have bad luck for like the other like application like letters. But it really turned out well. Like, I feel like I'm really not mad about how my entire, like, process turned out. But, like, obviously, like, if you were to explain to me what happened this year to, like, me last year, I'm gonna be, like, shocked and, like, probably, like, on the floor, like sobbing or something. But I feel like having, like, a moment of, like, clarity to know, like, it's, like, okay. Like, and there's always, like, masters to get. There's always, like, graduate school to go to. So even if you have, like, a dream school in mind, just wait your 4 years. You can even transfer. I know a lot of people who are planning to, like, transfer to, like, other schools. So, like, it's really fine. Like, everything, like, works out. Yeah.
And I'll call that a wrap. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Admitted. You can follow our Instagram, THHS Classic. You can also subscribe to the Classic TV. And we'll catch you guys on the next episode of Admitted in a short few days. Thank you.
Second would be take more showers. But not literally.
Jenny.
Not literally. As in, like,